What is going on? I am Johnny Von Duke and you are watching Disney Channel. What the fuck? I have featured this game several times before in streams. It's a fun time. It's a good way to kill a few hours of your day if you have utterly nothing to do and just want to kill some hordes of enemies. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is definitely, I want to say, the most loyal to DBZ we have gotten in Dragon Ball games so far. All the characters are featured, even from the OG Dragon Ball games. You got tons of DLC content, such as for Future Trunks, you got both Battle of Gods movies, basically, well, Revival of F and Battle of Gods. There is basically anything you want to do here, it's here. And with not remaster, but a Series X and PS5 update coming soon, what hope really is there for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot 2? And is it even needed? Now, if they do release a new Kakarot game, I don't think it should be a sequel game, because realistically you have covered every aspect of Dragon Ball there already is, and we don't want to repeat the trend of the Budokai and the Budokai Tenkaichi games and the Xenoverse games of just constantly retreading the old territory. Honestly, I think maybe it would be better just to keep Kakarot the first game. And you're probably thinking, what? Well, hear me out. This wouldn't happen overnight, obviously. This wouldn't happen over the course of months. This is something that would take lots of time and would probably need to wait till the next generations of consoles anyway, because I would want to see it done right. Because realistically, and I know that's how Dragon Ball games make money, but I'm hoping with the release of the Breakers now being out for a while, it's going to encourage the fan base and the developers of Dragon Ball games, Bandai, to move away from all of that. You know, just move away. Mind you, other people have developed for Dragon Ball games before. It's not just Bandai. But it's like, we need to move away from abusing the Dragon Ball Z story. And while I want to see the Dragon Ball Z story still brought in the best definition and the best hardware and in new ways and in new flavors, I still want to see it experimented with. I don't want to see another series become the Budokai / Budokai Tenkaichi / Blast. Oh my god. Like, listen, I am sorry, but the Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi games just stretched on for too long. And then you had the Budokai collection, and it didn't even include the Tenkaichi series for PS3. Like, we just can't stretch out these series anymore. So what can be added to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot to make it better? And why would this take until next generation? Well, that's because what I am suggesting should happen here is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot just become the ultimate hub for experiencing DBZ stories in game form. Now listen, I know that's a little bit odd, and you're probably saying, well, that's impossible, you can't have everything in one game. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yet. Mind you, games are getting bigger. Fuck, man, most games cross... If we're talking AAA, most games now cross over 70 to 100 gigabytes AAA. Like, a lot of games are bigger now, but the problem is we don't have the storage capacity with that. Like, even with my Series X back there, look at that shit. Look how much extra shit I need to have hooked up. Sorry, I didn't see how the point of view of my camera worked for a second. Look how much extra shit I have hooked up just to give it some viable storage. I have an 8 terabyte hub, two 2 terabyte drives, and then the 1 terabyte SSD plugged into the back. And that's on top of the base 1 terabyte storage, well, 850, really, gigabytes. Like, oh my god, like, you need to do a ridiculous amount of extra purchasing to give your device suitable fucking storage power right now. Which is why I'm saying this would need to wait till the future. Like, if I need to do all that just to give one device enough storage for more than 200 games, that is utterly ridiculous. I have about 500 packed in on there right now. But the fact that you need to do all that just to get above the proven benchmark with base storage of 80 to 200, depending on the size, like, it is ridiculous how much more money you need to put into that. So we need to wait for storage to become reliable and better spaced out, and for them to include more storage in base consoles, because console boys would be screwed over with the size of the game that would be proposed here. Like, we are easily talking a 200 fucking gigabyte game right now. Because you gotta think about what the size of base Kakarot is with just, and oh my god, I forgot about the remaster, even though that's the whole point of why we're making this game. Like, the next gen version, the Series X and PS5 versions coming out, which is gonna add even more shit. And what I'm suggesting is keeping Kakarot as is, and adding in the movie content, GT, and all of that. Yeah, I kind of boiled the pot off, but what I would like to see added is GT and the various movies. And along with Dragon Ball Super. And you're probably wondering, why would I want GT alongside Super? Well, the Xenoverse games proved it worked, first off. And if you go back to the Budokai and the Budokai Tenkaichi games, a lot of the extra flavorful, fun content came from when they included movies and GT in there. Let's be real here. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, fighting against Metal Cooler. I didn't even know that movie existed at the time. That was a fun treat, and which is why I'm saying the movies shouldn't be neglected. And now you're probably wondering, well, what about the Super movies? Those still exist. Now you're suggesting adding in the original movie stories too? What, are we going to go all the way back to the original Dragon Ball games? Days? Yeah, I would love to see original Dragon Ball thrown in as a story in this. OG Dragon Ball gets neglected just as much as GT nowadays. Not as much as GT, but it still gets neglected, so we should be seeing it, my people. But on top of that, there is also the truth in the matter that the movies also provide in a lot of good content for the Dragon Ball universe as a whole. And thankfully, this has already been explained in the Dragon Ball universe that these are different dimensions. You know, Future Trunks is explained as a parallel timeline, not the main timeline. So there's already that. And with the fact GT is already considered an alternate timeline to canon, there wouldn't be really much of a problem of throwing in the same game of stuff that has super content already. And if the movies are considered different dimensions, why can't they be thrown into Dragon Ball Z Kakarot as well? You know, it's kind of pointless to say that it can't be when they already have Trunks in there, and now they're talking about doing a Bardock expansion too. So yeah, you definitely can add these into Kakarot. Now, what gameplay-wise can be revised now that we've talked about what story content can be added in? Well, gameplay-wise, first things I would like to see revised is community boards. The community boards are fun and fine, but with the fact that you need to upgrade every single character and soul emblem, I should say, the fact you need to upgrade every single soul emblem that goes on the board, and then upgrade the main guys that started the board initially, it is just utterly ridiculous. And then you need to mix and match combos with the right characters. It's good, I like it, but it needs heavily revised to not be a grind and to be a slog. You know, I appreciate going out doing side quests, being able to get these characters and that, to have them as my backup, so to speak, on the community board, giving me extra buffs. But it needs to be revised, because upgrading every single character is just a headache if you want to 100% the game. It is just an utter headache and needs to be redone. Although you should still keep the concept because it is good, but it definitely needs redone. And then moving on from that, the button combos for how combat works, it needs to be switched up. It is just too bare bones. It is just lacking support. You are getting your ass handed to you while your enemy is whipping you left, right, front, and center. Mind you, you can fight back pretty easily if you know how to exploit certain aspects of the game. It's kind of like, you know, watching for an actual opponent fighting, which may be why I suck a little bit in this footage, but hey, it's whatever, man. It's a good time. But yeah, that the button combos for how combat works, that needs to be reworked in my opinion too. And on top of that, I would like to see cutscenes not be so much. There are just so many moments where you're hoping there's a sequence gameplay wise and it's not. It's a cutscene. Like traveling down Snake Way, it's not there. Even though, and I know I'm talking OGZ and not Kai, And that's another thing I want to add in. I want to see some of that filler content returned, because we had some king side characters from Dragon Ball Z filler content. Like when Goku ended up in hell, those fucking ogres, that was funny. I love that episode. And then there's Gohan with the robot in that cave. Oh, that poor robot, yo. And then there's the whole Shadow Saiyans, fake Namek. Like, there is a lot of stuff from OGZ that doesn't show up because of Kai being the canon, which I don't have a problem with. But again, these are things that could be added in for perhaps a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Kai version. Ironically enough, add in all the filler content that got cut out of Z back into Kakarot. Have it actually be playable levels alongside movies, alongside GT, alongside Super movies, alongside OG Dragon Ball. You get what I'm saying here? Kakarot has a gameplay with open world, and that's another thing. They need to fill the open world with more substantial rewards. It doesn't go there fully all the way for me. Upgrades could be a little bit more streamlined, but I believe the upgrade tree could just be added on to as is, and it would still be fine. It's a little confusing, but it's not too confusing. It just needs streamlined a little bit. The upgrade tree is perfectly fine in my opinion. But it's just like you have this universe, this multiverse of Dragon Ball that could be put into this one game. Because it's already stated it's okay with that, but it's just not there. You know, the fact that they're adding in the Bardock movie, basically, and the Trunks movie, you know, it's like, what more do you want? They're already stating they're cool with pulling in the alternate timelines and alternate dimensions shit that isn't canon into canon. Trunks is canon, Bardock isn't. Super Bardock is canon, Z Bardock isn't anymore. They provides that. Man, the Dragon Ball Z multiverse is confusing. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. But I don't care, because these are a game for Dragon Ball fans. If the noobs are hopping into the Dragon Ball universe with this, okay, go back to Budokai. Go back to Budokai. But anyway, guys, I have been Johnny Von Duke. I hope you enjoyed these random thoughts of a madman speaking about what he hopes for Dragon Ball Kakarot Kai or Kakarot 2 to be, or just continuous of this Kakarot. I'm saying I hope they add in a lot of stuff for this game and heavily revise it, even though it is a little older. I don't think there needs to be a second one. I think you can just revise, tweak, and upgrade this one to its maximum potential, because it would be a shame to see it not be there all the way at its max glory. Anyway, guys, I have been Johnny Von Duke, and it is time to take it away, other me. Whoa! Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's pretty much a nothing burger, but if you've been watching my channel for all 8 years that it's existed, you should know that's kind of what we do here. Anyway, if you somehow found yourself enjoying it, click over here to watch another video, click over here to watch another degenerate video, click here to subscribe to my channel, then click down there for, well, whatever lazy lack of originality content I put there. Anyway, get the fuck out of here, you filthy animal. Goodbye.